The way I heat my tank is fairly simple, and in a minute, you'll find out how to do it yourself. Now, in 1 minute, I'm about to show you these charts on how I heat my tank. But firstly, let me give you a little explanation on how it works. So I have a spot in my tank where cold air is brought in and heated and then pushed around my tank and then exhausted in another part. This creates basically a controlled environment inside of the tank, and it keeps the hermit crabs nice and toasty. Hey guys, before I show you the diagrams I drew up, I just want to say a few things. One, it is a bit noisy around my house area today because someone has a live band due to a football game that's going on. Also, I would like to say that I came up with this design, and please do not call it your own if you do choose to repeat it. And thirdly, I'd like to say that I'm not responsible for any damage, property, or physical or harm done to any beings, living or non-inanimate objects in your house or anyone else's as a result of replicating my project. This is actually somewhat dangerous and can be considered in many ways a fire hazard. So now that we've got that out of the way, let me show you how this works. My diagram here is for the heating system. As you can see, this is a replica of my tank. There's the 40-gallon breeder, there's the 20-gallon high that I have stacked on top of it. So what you can see here is this weird contraption. Now, I have a diagram explaining exactly how this works, which I'll show you in a minute, but for now we're going to say this is the intake. Now, cold air gets taken into the unit from two little ports on the side here, and it gets heated through here, and therefore is sucked up into here and exhausts. The air gets sucked up here because there's lots of airflow going on up here. I mean, like this little exhaust fan right here. This is exhausting air out, and some of it is actually getting pulled back into it, creating a loop. And then up here way on the top, as you can see, this basically just goes like this, sort of, a little bit. Some of the air gets dispersed, some of it gets taken in. It kind of just creates a cycle. But up here you don't have much air movement because none of this airflow around here is going up to there. So I have another little circulation fan that's up here that basically stirs around some of the air and pushes it around. Therefore we get some mixture, and the top area up here stays very identical to the temperature down here. But there is a little bit of a temperature skew, therefore replicating natural environment. So now I'm going to pull up the second diagram, which is upside down. And now, as you can see by the title, light bulb heater. And now, this is based off of a light bulb, an incandescent light bulb, by the way. So those of you who don't know what an incandescent light bulb is, it's basically one of those really, really old light bulbs. One of those, if you imagine like Thomas Edison kind of light bulb, like this. This is an incandescent light bulb, and it's rated at 150 watts, if you can see it right there. Let me focus that. 150 watts. So, how an incandescent light bulb works is there's an electrical current that flows through these wires here, and this middle wire is usually made out of a material called nichrome, or tungsten sometimes. But that gets heated up by electrical current, therefore creating light, as a fire creates light, because it's, I guess, a fire. I don't know how to explain that anymore, obviously. But as a side effect of creating light, it generates massive amounts of heat. I mean, whatever you get out of this is 90% heat, 10% light. So you have a massive amount of heat that's coming off of that. And so in this machine I built, it harnesses that heat to heat the tank. So this line here represents the top of the crab tank. And then this represents the dome that I have over the light bulb. and this is the light bulb, and then there's our little intake ports, and then I have a blower type fan, a blower fan. If you don't know what those are, look them up. It uses a little blower in the center of it to exhaust air out the side. And now the main reason I use this is because it is a very high exhaust fan, which means it blows a lot of air out through there and creates suction, which pulls air in the top and blows it out the side. And now, also the reason I use this light is because, this fan, is that this light is on 24/7 and my bed is right next to the crab tank. So, for those of you who do not like sleeping with any light in their room, I bet you can sympathize with me, because when there's light, I cannot sleep. So, if you can sleep with light on, by all means, you can have this be somewhat more open. You don't have to use a blower style fan, but this blower style fan is here so that light cannot directly shine down into the tank and create light everywhere in my room. It has to kind of go through this little matrix here, and if I didn't mention, there's mini holes along this. So there's basically a shield up there, right here, and then there's holes that the air can come through, therefore limiting more light going into the fan and more light coming out of the exhaust port. And then these holes are as small as possible, therefore minimizing the amount of light that offs from this machine, because I don't want light to be a factor of this. I would like my light to be controlled by the lights I have individually on my tank. So yeah, this is pretty much how the light bulb heater works. It is designed to run off of a 60-watt light bulb. Those are pretty common. You can get them for free from anyone. Go to the Goodwill, get a pack of 12 of them for $1 or something. They're really cheap light bulbs. I've only ever had to replace a light bulb once after running this for about 3 months. And it does keep my tank quite a bit warm. So, yeah, it's a pretty good heater. It is a bit of a fire hazard. If this fan stops working, it'll get very hot in this little chamber here, and it might be a fire hazard depending on what you make this chamber out of. Right now mine's a light hood, like a metal light hood, and then my coroplast lid is right here. So the light definitely has worked the heater definitely worked the coroplast a little bit, but not too much to worry about, as I reinforced it on the bottom and put a higher pressure fan in there. So I guess another factor we got to consider here is noise. These blower fans are noisy as crap, along with my other 2 fans I have in this system. Now, to give you an example of how noisy this is, I'm going to go and turn it on right now. So, here's our tank, and by the way, this natural background that I built looks very nice. That will be coming up in a future video. As you can see, this is my heater. Now, it is a regular light dome that is secured down on top of the coroplast just with some paracord. Yeah, I forgot what it was called. So now if you lift this up, see that there's your 60-watt light bulb. You've got some holes along here to create ventilation. And then here is that lid I was talking about that prevents light from coming through. If you can see on the side here, I'm sorry for all the camera shakiness. That's actually a hole right there. I can stick my finger down in there. That's a hole. And under that is our fan. As you can see, the fan wires come up and out of here, and they go over connect to my power distribution center. So that's the basis of the heater, the intake of the heater. Now the air will flow along here. And this is our little exhaust fan right here. It's very small, but it gets the job done. You do not want a big exhaust fan, by the way. You do not want it running very fast, as it will exhaust the crab habitat too much, therefore creating it a colder environment. And just have the fan kind of mounted right there. For a circulation fan, that's right here. I'm sorry, there's an LED panel right here, right next to it, but that's our circulation fan. And that just kind of stirs the air around up here in this top part. And it does its job fairly well. So if you give me a moment here, I'll fire it up and I'll be back in a second. So the system is fired up. I'm not sure exactly how well you can hear this. And that fan is acting a little weird right now. but as you can see, I can't stick my finger in it as it is guarded. But that is the noisiest fan in this system. The blower fan is running at decreased voltage, therefore making it spin slower and it offs less noise. But I mean, this system I have fine-tuned to run just perfectly for this tank. So let's say you're recreating this system and you want to have it be perfect for your tank. So some variables you'll need to consider to controlling the temperature with this system is the speed of the intake fan, the speed of the exhaust fan, and the wattage of your light bulb. So if you have a higher wattage light bulb, obviously the more heat will be going into the tank. If you do need to cool the tank down by a small amount though, adjusting the exhaust fan speed will definitely help you fine-tune the amount of heat you're having in the tank, and fine-tuning the intakes fan speed will definitely help you out there. Just one warning though, if you make the intake fan go too much, it will end up plateauing on how hot the tank will start to get, because the air will not have enough time when passing through this chamber to make contact with the light bulb, therefore being heated. So if the air is just whizzing through there, it's not going to get heated as much as if the air is just kind of strolling through there, and like heating up as it's in the chamber and then going in. So you have to kind of find that special speed of the intake fan so you can keep your tank at a steady amount. But this is a very reliable heating system if you get it set up properly, and I'm saying if because it is quite complicated and took me 3 months to perfect. So like this video, subscribe, comment, tell me if you want to see more stuff like this. If you absolutely hated this video and you think I'm a terrible person, you can down thumb it. But for now, stay tuned for the next video, guys.